through the competition now, and Scott Donie remains the leader. But the shocker here is Chris Mantilla, all 15 years old of him, in second place.
Chris has a very important dive coming up. It's an arm stand, cut through reverse 1.5 tuck. I used to do 2 handstands in my list when I used to dive, and I can tell you, having to hold a handstand on top of everything else in your first finals is really a tall order to fill. He must show control here, Tom.
You pointed out he wasn't as strong as some of the others. This handstand has to be taxing.
He must show control at the top. He must hold it. He is having the day of his life. What a dive for Chris Mantilla. That is a new dive. He just learned that at the beginning of the summer. What an effort for this 15-year-old that basically came out of nowhere. Great coming off the platform, big snap. He knows right where he is, sees his spot, kicks out. Look how tight he is going into the water. What a tremendous effort. This is a tough dive. This is not an easy dive. Right in the water. Oh, I'm so happy for Chris.
You know, sometimes you're so young you don't know you're supposed to feel pressure. Excellent scores for that dive, and perhaps that'll get him over the hump and right into the competition now, because that was his toughest dive. So Chris Mantilla, very impressive here in the 10-meter finals. Patrick Jeffrey also in the hunt, and he's been a hot diver. He won his first national championship yesterday on the 3-meter board. We asked him what he thinks about when he's diving.
I might visualize the dive once and stop, and then after that, what I do is I don't think at all. I just get up there and try and, with my mind blank, to put this dive onto my mind, which is already blank, so there's nothing there. So all I'm thinking about is the dive and the essential parts that I need to think about to make it a good dive. Because anything else that creeps in there is just in the way.
Michelle, is that typical to sort of go on autopilot?
Absolutely, and that's exactly what the divers call it. You clear your mind and you do what your body has been trained to do.
Well, his newest hobby is photography, and he would have liked him to take a picture of that championship yesterday. Can he double?
Another great dive. I wonder if he was watching Chris Mantilla before he went up there. Those dives are almost identical. Pat had a little bit of problem in the handstand. I was up here just leaning a little bit, trying to get him up over the edge on the start, but what a great effort. This guy was a trampolinist, and he knows right where he is, cat-like awareness in the air, right in the water. That's what you want to do at the finals of the national championships.
And the scores reflect that, ranging from 7.5 to 8.5. And Patrick Jeffrey right at the top of the standings after that excellent dive.
Ed Morris, front 3.5 pike. He's hot today. Very important dive. Left it a little bit short on the bottom. He's had a very good day today here in Bartlesville, but he had a little problem with that dive. He hits the end of the tower, and watch the dive. It's going down and not up. He's maybe just even a little bit close. He's not spinning real fast. Comes around, he just runs out of room. I'm sure he would have liked to have been able to do that dive again.
So the sophomore at Miami-Dade Community College will settle for some subpar marks and probably drop from that position he had held.
This is Pat Evans, and this is a crucial moment. Back 3.5 somersaults in the tuck position. For 9s, we'll see. That dive was in trouble from the start. You could see on his takeoff that he was sitting back just a little bit. Oh, that's not going to help his effort, although there's still a lot of dives yet to be done in the contest. Right here, he's sitting his hips back too far. And furthermore, he needs to go ahead and bring his arms up here. He's slow getting his knees up. His arms need to be way up here. That dive's in trouble right from the start, and as you can see, he's running out of room and he's short all the way. Boy, that's not going to help his effort.
So the defending champion sees his chances of repeating in 1991 suffer a blow after those scores and a subpar dive.
Here's Scott Donie. He's doing the same dive we saw Chris Mantilla and Patrick Jeffrey do. He must hold the handstand and show control.
He's in first place.
He looked like maybe he had a little problem holding that handstand, but boy, he sure was able to get it in the water. Nice and solid coming off the platform. Look at him, just look, right where he's going to kick. Come around and reach right for the water. You know, an interesting thing about Scott is he's wearing a big wrist brace like those that they use in gymnastics. He has had a tremendous amount of wrist problems this year, and apparently that brace is making the difference in enabling him to dive off 10 meter.
Fine scores again for Scott Donie. He has wrist problems. That brace on his right wrist and a cyst on his left wrist will be operated on after this competition. But despite the injuries and the missed time due to that stress fracture of his foot, he is in first place and enjoying it in the moment. After 6 rounds of competition, Scott Donie has a comfortable lead on 15-year-old Chris Mantilla.